Welcome back, everybody, to the second semi-final of the day. TSL4, very excited for this map, or should I say this matchup coming. Talk to me, Autosis. What are you thinking about CreatorPrime versus Sting?
Alright, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Creator is like the hottest player on Earth right now, right? He just won WCS Korea, which is... WCS Korea is one of the hardest things in the world to win. It is so insane. He hasn't lost a game in the TSL, and he's done all of this through completely predictable standard play.
Yeah.
That he's so strong. But Sting, on the other hand, this guy is almost like a Protoss sniper. He used to be on NS Hoso, which is a team completely known for its Protoss lineup, which means he got a ton of practice in that matchup, and he varies his builds insanely much. You never see this guy do the same thing twice.
And if you look at, Sting, we'll talk about Sting a little bit here. He went 3-1 versus BCQT, and, Terran played beat down there. He then went over to Dark Force, but the interesting storyline of how Sting got to where he is now is he went through IAMS first, who actually beat Tasia in this tournament, alright? That means a lot for then Sting to come back to beat first. It doesn't make any sense in anybody's mind how that happens, but that just shows you how good he actually is against Protoss, even being statistically his strongest matchup as well, as we see on the screen.
Yeah, and that series was pretty close overall. 4-2 for Sting, but really like that game 3 on Ohana, I feel like first should have had. So even though Sting definitely a great TVP player, he's very beatable as well, and you know that he's going to be attacking you or taking some sort of risky advantage early on. So if Creator can keep his scouting up and keep his solid play going, I think he's the favorite, but it's going to be hard. Sting is tricky.
Sting is indeed tricky, and this is definitely his comfort zone too. He doesn't really play too much in the GSL. He hasn't really qualified. I think he qualified once in 2012, but fell short of the mark initially in the round of 48. But he plays a lot online. He plays a lot of freaking tournaments. So the European server, North American server, and a lot of all the Korean online tournaments too. So he's got a lot of good experience in playing in online tournaments such as this, compared to Cray, who spends a lot of time in the GSTL, who spends a lot of time preparing for the GSL. So it's a kind of different set of player. They're going up against each other. But as you said, CreatorPrime, undefeated in the TSL. And even if you go back to his TSL qualifiers, he only dropped 2 maps out of a 128 player bracket, undefeated again in that tournament. And his rise in 2012, Autosis, has been so sharp, so sharp.
Yeah, and we knew he was coming up for a long time. He's shown just a ton of skill overall. But I want to go back to actually what you said, which was so interesting, that Sting plays like a lot of online tournaments, whereas Creator is more of in GSL mode. And that lends towards Creator having an advantage here, because TSL is much like the GSL, where you have a full week to actually prepare for your matches, and you can actually look into the other player and get ready for that. Whereas Sting, well, the way that Sting plays shows that he's kind of an online cup player. He has a ton of different cheesy builds, and that's the type of play that's really going to reward you in a huge bracket. So, again, after you saying that, I feel even more strongly that Creator should be the favorite here.
All right, well, we'll have to find out, as we will be starting this series in just a couple of moments' time. Very excited for this series. I actually casted, I think, 2 of the 3 games that Creator played so far in this tournament, against Coca and then against Hack. And the series against Hack was so incredibly one-sided. It was basically Hack trying to break through CreatorPrime's defense with 0 achievements, 0 rewards for anything he attempted. And now let's talk a little bit about the playstyles and how everyone's got to approach this, because I think CreatorPrime's pretty solid, nailed down. It's going to play pretty straightforward in terms of macro style, very defensive. How is Sting going to approach this series against Creator, do you think?
Dude, I think that Sting is just going to mix it up insanely much and do a lot of cheesy stuff, whether it's hide command centers or just all in right away. There's not going to be too much else really going on, I think. That's been his MO so far, and it worked out very well against First. So we'll see. Will Creator actually adapt his scouting style here?
We'll have to find out, I suppose. And just looking over the map pool a little bit too. I mean, do you have any thoughts on the map pool? Initially starting off on Metropolis, over to Daybreak, Cloud Kingdom, fourth map Antigua Shipyard, Ohana number 5, 6 Entomb, then finally back to Metropolis.
Well, just looking at the stats that we have for these maps here, the biggest difference in wins is on Metropolis with only 6 games different. These maps are super balanced statistically for this matchup, whereas in the last one, one of those maps had like 20 more wins for Zerg. So, I mean, statistically speaking, they all look good. But, a big map against Creator, I feel like Metropolis, with that being in here twice, is really going to be good for Creator. How are you going to get across that map and actually cheese him when you're a player like Sting?
That's actually really true. So Creator could be looking, despite the stats of course favoring Sting, of course stats taken from a wide variety of games. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and start the games. First map is going to be Metropolis. We'll run this quick intro and then we'll load straight in to map number 1. Alright, welcome back everybody to the TSL4. We are now loaded into game number 1, where we are going to see these two great players go head to head. Who is going to meet life in the finals? Well, let's find out. I'll introduce one of our players on the left hand side of this map, playing very similar in terms of colors to his opponent. It is none other than Sting.
And on the right side, we have perhaps the hottest Protoss in the world right now. He makes the matchup seem imbalanced, the race seem imbalanced. He is CreatorPrime.
CreatorPrime, what a great young talent this guy is. Has shown his expertise in not just a single matchup, across the board. In WCS career, the one he most recently won, it was mostly PvPs, and his PvPs were good, and he brought down a lot of amazing players. He beat Coca 3-0 in the TSL4, made him look like nothing with excellent execution on timings, and if need be, he went up to the longer late game armies as well. And then against Terran, he just seems unbreakable. This guy seems untouchable. Do you think that Sting needs to kind of exploit this solidness? Because that's what, I mean, speaking from a strategical point, if you play against a player that is so solid, unbreakable, he's not really cutting corners, and do you think that Sting's going to cut some?
Yeah, I think that that's going to be all that Sting does here, is just cut insane corners and do some crazy strats. Because if you look at Creator, like, I didn't watch like a lot of those GSL versus Kespa things where they mask the players. But about 2 minutes into game 2, I'm like, that's Creator. Because Creator does the same thing every game. In Protoss vs. Terran and Protoss vs. Protoss, he goes Macro Colossus. Both matchups. In Protoss vs. Zerg, he goes for Blink Stalkers. I mean, this is how this guy plays. So, of course, Sting is going to know that completely, and he's going to have plans on how to cut edges, knowing that most likely there's not going to be any cheeses or early attacks incoming.
Well, we may have, well, we actually had a very early SCV hiding in the middle, and then it went to this north side. It looks like we are going to have a secondary barracks potentially here. Or, no, sorry, it's just going to be a factory coming down. So, already we are going to have this super aggressive play, initially started here by Sting. The one advantage you can throw to Create again, especially because of their presence in the GSTL, their way that they practice, their way that they study for their opponents. Creator has Prime. They have the coach, they have the players to practice against, and if Creator wants to take this tournament seriously, he has all the tools necessary to bring down Sting, and Sting has to do this alone, maybe with just a couple of friends on Battle.net.
That is so true, man, but don't forget that Sting is from originally NS Hoso, and that is a great group of Protosses, man. I mean, players like San and Tassadar and well, Sage left now, but I'm sure they're good friends as well. So he's definitely got a good group of Protosses to practice against for Creator.
So we do have the infantry down, and this is going to be an interesting way, because usually Creator, upon seeing that he has seen that there's no expansion down yet, everything's kind of tucked up nicely in the main, doesn't know if this is an expansion or not, but he's not really a Protoss player that would delay the gateway significantly here, pushing up to 34, 36 supply. He is going to take a double gas first, and upon taking a double gas, I think he's feeling a little bit too comfortable, and where he has even another pylon coming down, and without additional gateways here, he actually could be in trouble.
Yeah, and his Stalker now going in and seeing there's no command center down there yet. Sees a lot of Marines on the ramp. Alright, so at this point, he's going to be thinking, okay, I think I know what's going on. Robo time, get Observer, and we're going to see 2 gates popping up from him in just a second here.
But this isn't really going to help him if Hellions are already out. We have 2, out. A third one on the way. The gateways are not down yet. They will be coming down by the looks of it in just a couple of seconds' time. Very tense moment, and this is one of the really difficult things as a Protoss player against Terran, is the amount of options and availability they have across the board in terms of builds. It's just unridiculous how many builds they actually have to use.
That is true. There are a ton, but for Creator, there's only 2. There's Robo before your second and third gates, and there's your second and third gates before your Robo. This time, it should work out. He's going to have 3 Stalkers and a Zealot when those Hellions come, and the Hellions go right up the ramp, but his units are in the main base. How many kills will these Hellions actually get?
Alright, a couple of probes have gone down, a couple more go down. It looks like he's going to abort the main base. The Stalkers are dealing damage. He's going to head towards the natural, where more probes are to be found. And so far we have 6 kills gone down, more are being hunted. It may stop at 6, 7 kills, and the Hellions have picked off 7 kills in total, but the Medivac and 8 Marines is about to land.
That is right, but his gates are about to finish, so he does have a fresh warp-in round coming. No stim or combat shield for these Marines, so with some nice micro Creator should have enough to hold this off. And in fact, at the same time, look at this. Sting is expanding to the top of the map right now. So Sting, as predicted, Apollo, is taking all sorts of edges, all sorts of advantages against Creator.
This is going to be some technical series if it's going to start off like this, as the Marines make their way to the natural now, doing a lot of damage here. Sting needs a micro not to let that Marine at the front die. He does, a little bit unfortunate there, but he does pick off a Stalker and Zealot for his troubles. But these Marines, they're not going home, because these Stalkers will chase that Medivac down until the end of the day.
That's right. He is going to continue to try to harass. What he needs to do is just keep Creator over here right now, keep him busy, to allow Sting to actually get his 2 expansions up and try to keep that heavy lead. But, you know what? I feel like Creator is going to scout over there. He did some really good scouting during the last round, and I'm sure that he watched Sting's last round, and Sting did another strategy kind of similar to this there as well.
Yeah, I think he was on Daybreak, actually. He did something very similar, and even Select, in the initial rounds of TSL4, tried exactly the same as we're seeing now, a proxy command center. People, I mean, if you think about, as a Protoss player, as your style, your macro focus, your defensive, you know that you're pretty much unbeatable in terms of timings against you, in terms of any aggression. What's the one way somebody could beat you? And that's going to be these wacky kind of things. So I think that's the one weakness of Creator's style, and absolutely he should be looking for things like that.
Yeah, and he should know that too. I will not be surprised at all if he finds that pretty quickly. And he doesn't have to find it too quickly to make it so it's not a big deal. So we'll just keep our eye on that and see what goes down. But Creator, look at this, Double Forge and Colossus Tech. Are you surprised, Apollo?
I am not surprised at all. This is his trademark style since the beginning of time, pretty much. You know, one thing that an observer could scout the hidden proxy, if Creator was to pay attention to the mineral lines, is the lack of mules that will be called down in the main and natural. That's like a little tell, because everything's been put down at the top, because Sting knows that there's a limited amount of time on that base and he wants to extend his main and natural.
Yeah, definitely. That's something. It's hard for a player to actually realize that, but hold on, though. We do have 2 Medivacs going across the map. Luckily for him, the Zilnaga Watchtower does reveal this, so we do have Creator going home. If he had flown the long way around with those Medivacs, that would have been so deadly.
Yeah, they could have done a lot of damage there, but now Creator, feels the threat, knows the threat's a viable option there, and of course just covers his angles. Do you think Creator, though, at this stage of the game is... Oh no, look, top left.
Ooh,
oh, he's done it,
going to go ahead and scout it.
Yeah,
Very well done by Creator, and really, if he can get over there and kill off those SCVs, good for him. He's done a good job with this. But the medevacs are nowhere near anywhere to actually punish Creator for moving his army over there. Yeah, they aren't anywhere. If Sting still had his medevacs over on the right side of the map, he could be in a great spot here.
Well, those SCVs died fast, and CreatorPrime, of course, just says, alright, time for my third base. No need to go do anything crazy because I'm going to win once I get to 3-3. As he sends out another observer and just makes sure nothing cheeky like that happens again. And to spot that so early on in Game 1, that means that we probably won't see something like this again for the rest of the series.
I completely agree with you there. I don't think Sting's going to pull this one out of his hat again. Well, he is moving across the map with a little army and 2 medevacs, but Creator, he has a good amount of units in his main, and of course his Colossus-based army engaging. Oh, and he traps with force fields. Oh my god, beautiful force fields here by Creator, and he crushes one half of that army.
Oh, and I was actually watching inside the main base. As the force fields landed, you had the blue icon, or the blue circle underneath Creator's units, man. He immediately went there to scout and to check. He knows exactly what kind of play he's going up against. CreatorPrime shuts that down like a boss, and is already pushing at 2-2 here with the Tempo Archives down compared to these engineering bays. A little bit stuck, unfortunately, at 1-1. He just doesn't have the money to really get to there while building up an army of the same size.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what's really cool here? Look at where Sting landed that 3rd command center, that hidden command. He's actually just landing it in an area that's very easy to go in and hit it, but I didn't expect him to do that, and I don't think Creator did either, because he hasn't even checked there yet.
Yeah, I think he just smashed and went back, but oh well, that's a little bit unfortunate, but we do have a 3 medivac drop set up. We do not have Blink yet. Stalkers are in good position with a lot of Zealots to support too. This shouldn't really work as long as Creator does see it, and he doesn't, or he hasn't moved to react yet. He is reacting rather late.
Oh, we do have a drop in the main base right now of Creator, but he does have a lot of Zealots here warping in. Unfortunately for him, though, Sting with 3 medevacs. Looks like he may be able to remove all these units, but we do have reinforcements coming up from Creator, and he will finally force us out of here.
Alright, so technically so far in this game, oh, nice feedback as well. Creator's in a really solid position. Everybody can see he's got +3 attack on the way, +3 armor will start in a couple of seconds as well. Where do you think that Sting needs to take this game from here? He's tried a lot of different attempts. He does have that base in the middle, but he's playing from behind a little bit at the moment in terms of upgrades and army size.
Yeah, he definitely is, and in fact, he's throwing down 2 Raxes right now to try to fix that up a little bit, and he does already have Ghosts on the way, which is really good because Creators use that 1 Colossus style that we're seeing more and more of in Korea, so he's going to have his Ghosts out, and, if he micros well, if he keeps this up, he can fight toe-to-toe with Creator for a bit, but he is going to need a 4th base.
And I suppose that Creator will want to take one momentarily here as well as he continues to chrono boost out those upgrades. A really fast set of 3-3. He also has Storm done too. Even though when a lot of Protoss players do like to rush 3-3, they do like to just put Archons in there and maximize the emphasis of getting 3-3 out so fast. But with Storm, that means he can Storm drop. The army's going to be pretty strong, and Sting's going to have to split a lot. SCVs will go into that 3rd base, and the 4th base, as you said, is coming down too.
Well, I think he knows now, man. He does have a Warp Prism flying across. He realizes where this base is for Sting, and in fact, his Observer is doing a good job of watching everything, but nope, the Observer just got scanned. Really good map awareness here by Sting.
Creator moves to the Zelnova Tower. 1 Marine gets slaughtered in the middle, and he does put a bit of pressure on it. In the meantime, moving that Warp Prism into the main base, a little 1-2 attack, and he's going to kill that 3rd base in the center while warping in units to the main, and this is going to be pretty deadly, unfortunately.
Yeah, Sting is in some trouble here. He can't be losing his 3rd base once again, but in fact he will. Really nice snipe here by Creator, but Sting is coming up. A little bit clumped up right now, but the Eye-Templar's a little bit far behind. Here we go. Psystorm going down, and EMP does hit, but oh, and in fact another EMP hits. Great moves there by Sting.
Yeah, and a lot of Zealots have been warped in. 3-3 is not ready. It's only just now finishing up after the fight actually begins. But a lot of Zealots have been warped in and going to push this back. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism in the main base was picked up by a couple of idle Marines there left to defend. And Sting is running out.
Indeed he is, but he picked off a few units there of Creator's army. Unfortunately for him, though, Creator has taken the supply lead. He's still getting more upgrades, and he's switching into Colossus Tech, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the scariest thing that Creator can do to you.
Yes, it's pretty scary. Shields upgrade on the way as well. Thermal Lance 2. Well, Thermal Lance 2, I say that and I'm like, oh my god, Thermal Lance isn't done yet? Hold on. Alright, never mind. That would explain a lot for that last fight. But with a lot of ghosts here, ooh, the army is very clumped up.
Oh, and we do have some nice snipes going down, taking out a High Templar there, a nice EMP going down as well. Good side storms from Creator, though. Still has a very powerful army. This is a very micro-intensive moment, but look at what Creator has behind this army. He's taken his 4th base. Sting, on the other hand, isn't even mining from his 3rd right now.
Yeah, he's not. He's in a world of trouble. Right now we are seeing basically 2,000 peak or spike from Creator in terms of mineral every single minute this game goes on. So that's 20 zealots, man. He can keep banking up for the reinforcements. He doesn't quite have enough gateways. That's something that he will need to add on. He's only at like 10, I think, which is really low for this stage of the game, considering the amount of money he does have. But I don't think it matters too much. He's looking to land the killing strike.
Yeah, and I think that might just happen here. Sting has a great army, but this could be a relentless attack. He is warping in a pylon to be able to get his reinforcements up there very quickly. And in fact, notice that very brave orbital command to try to mess up the AI on some of these Archons and Stalkers.
That's a nice little maneuver there by Sting. Creator trying a different angle, a different approach, and it looks like he's not going to wait. The storm is available. Where are the storms? One goes down, doesn't really hit anything there, unfortunately. A second one does go down, but oh my god, that High Temple got shot in the head a couple of times. Good defense so far by Sting.
That's right, he's holding on, man, but when is he going to take another base? What is his actual plan here? He has to get really lucky to take out even this army, let alone what Creator can reinforce with. So he is spreading out. He has a good number of ghosts, but Creator's taking yet another base and even starting to throw down cannon rings to make sure that he doesn't even have to have units at home to defend against drops.
Vikings, unfortunately, do not have any upgrades, so they're going to be pulling these Colossus down relatively slow here. And it looks like Creator may be one of the goes got a lot of money in the back, 2,000 in the bank to be exact. There's 20 more zealots that can immediately warp in as the gateways do start to tally up. A bit of a touchy-touchy at the moment between these two guys, just trying to feel each other out, to look for the right angle, but it is difficult to engage.
It certainly is. You know, one really good EMP or two really good storms can just change the tides of this battle. And in fact, here we go. Look at that. Some nice storms going down. Those Vikings are so low on health right now that the Colossi are going to be very hard to take out. And here we go. Creator finally deciding it is time. Another good storm going down. Can he break through the army of Sting?
And it looks like he should be able to with more and more reinforcements coming. Unfortunately, these Marauder and Marines are only at 2-2 compared to 3-1-3 with +2 shields soon to be in GG Colds.
Well, Creator just so solid there, scouting out that extra base. You know, limiting the probe kills, even though Sting did he got 7 in the early game, so that was pretty okay. But Creator just showing his solid macro style. It's so hard to beat him when he gets to that point.
And when I watched First against Sting, the start of the series, I'm like, oh my god, First is just gonna, wipe through this very, very easily. But Sting showed a lot of resilience in this series. He turned games around. He turned the series around a lot, and I'd be expecting the same from Sting here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's gonna go down without a fight. I think Creator's undefeated streak here, it's gotta end tonight. If he can go ahead and 4-0 Sting, I mean, someone needs to make a shrine to him or something, because there's just not a Terran that can take him out.
No, there's not, and he could very well go to the finals and win it all. We don't know. We're here to find out, that's for sure. So guys, we'll take a very quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with the next map, which is going to be over on Daybreak.